Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. It is finally Friday, and it's a nice day. It's hot, man. Woo! I was not ready. Long pants? What am I doing? We appreciate you being here. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Make sure you smash that like button for us. Like and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Same deal on your preferred podcast app. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And please, 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 on this Friday, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We are back from Fifth Third Arena. We literally just got back moments ago. Trying to find parking in the West Loop can be a challenge with 10 minutes notice, but we're here.
Yeah,
we did it.
Asses in seats.
That's right. Butts in seats. Buns in seats. We'll never lose again, as Shorzy says. Lots to get to today. The theme of today's show is going to be defense. We talked to Jared Tinordi. We talked to Kevin Korchinski, obviously. Luke Richardson had a lot of good stuff to share about Korchinski and about Nolan Allen. We also had a Marion Hossa sighting.
Yeah.
We don't know what it means, but we're going to speculate wildly.
Doesn't mean nothing.
And let's start with the update on Taylor Hall, which is not really an update, but I would say the revelation is that Luke said we knew he might have a little something because he was dealing with some stuff in Boston, but we're hoping that it'll be nothing. Like I said yesterday, I don't love the way Luke is talking about this. No, I don't think he's going to miss months or anything like that, but I hope he's ready to go for game 1 of 82. For me, right now, that's my hope.
Yeah, and that might be good to just leave as the expectation. Is there any rush to get Taylor Hall here in preseason action, day 3, 4, 5 of training camp? He's a guy that I think can take some time to be 100% for the regular season to start and be fine, and I don't think he's gonna miss much by missing these days. So if we don't see him for another week or 2 weeks, if that's what he needs to heal, then that's just fine. I'd rather that than hand wring and worry about, missing the first 2-3 days of camp. Hopefully it's not anything more than that, though. If he misses regular season games to start the year, then yeah, we're talking a little antsy.
Yeah, I don't like, as you said, I don't like the way he said it. Sounds like he knows something but doesn't want to tell us.
Yeah.
I know he had some time on IR last year, so I don't. I'm not worried about Taylor Hall missing training camp practices. He's been in the league long enough.
He'll be okay.
I think he can jump right in and do what he does, what he needs to do. So we'll see. We'll give it a few more days. If it's, if we've played 3-4 preseason games and haven't seen him on the ice yet, then it's like, okay, this is a little more.
Yeah.
But just take a day at a time. These are the days it's okay to miss when you're a veteran. If it was one of these guys, Colin Blackwell hasn't played yet, hasn't practiced yet either. That's a guy that hurts more.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall knows.
Him. Yeah.
Taylor Hall knows he's going to be the top line left winger when he's healthy. Colin Blackwell's fighting for a playoff spot, so every day that he's not out there, someone else is ahead of him.
Yeah,
roster
definitely.
spot.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Cubs are fighting for a playoff spot.
You know what I meant.
Yeah, we get mixed up.
I got Cody in my peripheral.
Yeah, and like we said, had some injuries last year and has had a history of injuries, but you would hope a whole offseason would have been enough to recover. But every injury is different. I know you said a couple weeks ago, I don't get why guys wait until the end of this, midway through the summer to get these things treated. Why not just get them right away? I think we're jumping the gun a little bit, though. Let's worry about this when we have to worry about it. But if it's anything super long-term, I don't know. I have enough faith in Kyle Davidson, and he has shown enough since his tenure for me to give him the benefit of the doubt that whatever this is, he knew about it, didn't sign off on damaged goods he didn't know about. He seems to have his ducks in a row on pretty much everything, so I don't think that this is the sort of thing that stuck up on him. He was asked when he spoke last week, do you expect any injuries? Is everybody healthy? And he said, well, yeah, for the most part, but, some things crop up during physicals. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was laying the groundwork for that or what, but let's worry about this when we have to worry about it. But I just wanted to get to it because I am just not loving the way Luke Richardson's talking about it. So, yeah. And that's that.
Until the next episode of Where's Taylor Hall?
Exactly. Also, some stuff to know before we get into the nuts and bolts of the show. If you were trying to plan around coming to Hawks practice, I think we would all recommend coming Monday or Tuesday, where they're going to be doing full scrimmages with referees. It's going to be the closest thing you see to actual hockey and not just a bunch of drills.
Before the preseason games.
Yeah.
Yeah. If those free tickets aren't sold out, try and jump on them now because those will be fun days to be there. You'll get to see some 75-80% hockey. I think that'll be good. Luke said don't hit your teammates into the fourth row in the scrimmage, but play hard and be able to have. I liked the question from Mark Lazarus today about just kind of putting it bluntly, like, what do you evaluate from these guys going through drills early on through the preseason? Like, what are you actually taking away from seeing it? And I liked how Richardson, explained it in more of a long form, but basically just saying, like, he wants to see the compete level. He wants to see, the energy that guys are bringing from day one, and where their mechanics are, how crisp do they look while they're going through some of these drills. And that's kind of how you evaluate based off of a lot of those like small sample drills or the individual skill drills, anything like that. But getting them into a setting where they're competing, playing a game, simulated game setting, that'll be good to kind of see some of the lines and the pairings that we've seen the first 2 days that have been consistent both days. See what those lines and pairings can do when put into a game situation. Does anything need to be tweaked before we actually get into preseason games? So those will be fun days to be there, to kind of see the game action and see some of these guys more in that hockey element than just skate around the cone and here's a pass and shoot, or you're shooting for a rebound. Like, it'll be good to get into a game setting.
Yes, because selfishly, I want to see a little more. It's as excited as we were to get there yesterday. After about 15 minutes, you remember hockey drills are boring.
Yes, they don't.
I know they're not there to entertain us. They don't care that I'm yawning up there because it's the same repetitive stuff. But selfishly, I'd like to see something else besides the same 3 drills.
Yeah. Well, there's a question in the chat from Corey. He says, "How does Bedard looked the first 2 days?" Good. He looks good. He definitely is probably the best player offensively out there.
Yep.
It shows very clearly every time he has the puck. But again, you're watching drills. You're watching things where defenders are not defending as hard as they're supposed to, or actually they're working on defense this week. So more of anything, the offense doesn't probably look as strong as it should because there's like design turnovers in the plays and it's all part of the drilling. I will say, if anyone has stood out aside from Connor Bedard, it's been the Reichel, Kurashev, Athanasiou line. Whenever they're working line drills, they are clicking.
Yeah. That
line really looks like it's got some chemistry, and that's when Luke spoke yesterday talking about the idea of putting them together. He said they sort of finished the season with some chemistry, and they really seem to be in sync for what it's worth. And again, we'll see more in a preseason game and in the scrimmage, but if one group has really looked like noticeably better, I would say that's the line that's really stood out.
I mean, yeah, I think that that's a trio that I think can have a lot of success complementing each other in their games. So saw them paired up at the end of last season. It seems like through the first 2 days of camp that chemistry and momentum is carrying through. So yeah, I'd like to see it in action. I think that's a group of guys all looking to prove a little bit of what happened last year and building on to next year. This year rather. Kurashev got his deal through arbitration. Athanasiou got a pay bump. Reichel's getting a full-time look in the NHL now. He's going to be the second-line center, so I think as long as Athanasiou, Kurashev, and Reichel as a trio play well through the preseason, that's your second line to begin the year. I'm excited to see what that group can do moving forward. They've been the best trio through the first 2 days. Even Donato, Tyler Johnson, and Bedard, which I don't think is going to be the trio to start the year. I think both Johnson and Donato are. Donato, I think, is placeholding for Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
But I think that line is going to take a little bit of time to gel, and we'll see. Like I said, if Hall is healthy, he's going to be with Bedard.
Yeah, I like the Reichel, Kurashev, Athanasiou line, not only because they've got some familiarity with it, but they all kind of do different things. They all skate really well, which is good. I mean, they're going to get up the ice fast into the zone, but you have AA, who's the speedster, burns up the ice, gets there, very vertical game, can create some chances. Reichel's the playmaker. He's got a good shot too, so he could be, if you're out there and Athanasiou speeding up the wing, just get to the front of the net, wait for a rebound. You're gonna score a lot of goals.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you've got Kurashev, who's, no pun intended, kind of the Swiss Army knife of that line.
Because he's Swiss, you see.
Yeah,
He is Swiss,
like the cheese.
Yes.
So he, and he's the defensive responsible one too. Not that either Athanasiou and Reichel are complete liabilities defensively, but he's the one that can, maybe force that turnover in the offense, in the defensive zone, to get those guys up the ice quickly.
Yeah, I think we saw throughout the dynasty years the benefits of having, your Taves, Kane, and Saad, or your Taves, Sharp, and Saad, or whatever it might have been, Hanzus and Kane and Hossa, or whatever it might have been during those years. That there was always a good mix of skill, defense, and net front presence. Right. And this line has that too. So I'm curious to see how they look in real competition. I was really impressed with the way Athanasiou handled playing center. And I know he's not playing center now. Reichel's playing center. But he did show the ability to be a little more defensively reliable and capable than maybe we gave him credit for.
Yeah.
Because when you're a center, you have more defensive responsibility. And I think when he was a winger, they kind of said, like, hey, cheat up a little bit. Let's use your speed to get the puck out of the zone to get a scoring chance. Whereas as a center, he's got to be a little more defensively responsible. I wonder if if playing with Reichel will force him, and if they'll ask him to be a little more defensively responsible too. It's going to be interesting to see how that line plays out. But that one seems right now the most settled.
Yeah.
And I also think the Dickinson, Foligno, and Perry line,
Probably.
It just makes so much sense when you see them together.
That's an NHL third line.
Yeah.
That is, or fourth line, whatever, bottom, whatever.
That's a bottom six NHL line on.
It's going to be effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Do you want to tell your Nick Foligno anecdote that you told us walking to the cars about Connor Bedard?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a quick chance to talk to Nick Foligno before the larger group scrum, doing some fun stuff with social media. But yeah, he said he had to tell Connor Bedard who Pearl Jam was, and the collective head shaking on this set is seismic.
I mean, how would he know?
It's
What
true.
year was he born?
He was born. He'd be in 06.
Oh my God.
Right? No, 05. He'd be an 05 birthday.
I hate this conversation for so many reasons.
Yeah, July 17, 2005.
Yeah, so his first Pearl Jam album would have been what, Backspacer? Since that he was alive with?
He's right around the Avocado album. That might have been.
Oh,
the year
right,
before,
yes, yeah.
But that would have been the most current one, yeah.
Yeah.
But come on.
Vitology was 94.
Well,
The self-titled Pearl Jam was 96, so that's the one.
No.
06.
06.
Okay,
06. Yeah. So that's, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, why would Bedard know?
You can't tell me they've never played even flow at a Regina Pats game, and while they're
They only play Tragically Hip in Canada. It's all you're allowed to play.
But I mean-
and Celine Dion.
But I mean, think.
I bet you he knows who Brian Adams is.
Think about though, if it's a juniors rink, wouldn't you play what's hip with the juniors at that time? Pearl Jam probably hasn't been played at that rink since.
But you got to play something
early
for the
2000s.
They're there.
That's
Got to
true.
keep the Billet families happy. They're the ones housing these kids.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. So
It's just a stark
frustrating.
reminder how old we are.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
Windy
it was,
City,
it was, it was
yeah.
fun talking with Foligno. Yeah, we've all said it, and I truly believe it. He is going to be not here for a long time, but a good time, and he's going to be a fan favorite if he isn't already.
He's one of my favorites already, just in the first, scrum.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to him talk. I was like, come on, let's get this season going. Like,
Yeah.
It's just
We just didn't have
like-
time to turn around the video, but he went out of his way to say, like, I think there's something here. I think there's something to this team. I think it's going to be a better team than people think. And you could laugh that off, but he's a guy just coming from Boston who had the historically best season in the history of the game.
Yeah.
So, aside from winning the cup, of course. But, maybe he's just saying it, but I don't know. It does feel a little different. And I don't think we're saying playoffs. I don't think we're saying Stanley Cup, of course. But from 59 points last year to like 70,
Yeah.
74, I don't think that sounds unreasonable, assuming health for most of the
Assuming
important
health
pieces.
Yeah. And look, like we talked about it yesterday, how last season and this season going into training camp feels different. We talked to Mackenzie Entwistle at the first game of the year last year. And the message was coming in with a chip on your shoulder, proving people wrong. And as much of that as we were like, yeah, that sounds good to hear coming from you, it's the eye rolls. It's like, oh yeah, who are you going to prove wrong? Or what are you going to do to prove people wrong? Finish third from last instead of last? Good job, you did it. This season, though, I think there's a ton of expectations for this Blackhawks team to be as bad as last year's team. I don't see it. I think the potential for improvement is there.
Well, just look at the bottom six. You throw out that bottom six last season, there's no chance of goal unless there's like an own goal. There was no chance that they were scoring.
Right.
You look at the bottom six this year. We just talked about that Dickinson, Perry, Foligno line. That's not, there's no all-stars on that line. But at least with those three guys, defenses have to be a little like, okay, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
better be on our toes. Corey Perry can still shoot the puck. Nick Foligno's going to grind out 10, 15 goals this year just by getting to those greasy areas and doing what he does. So, and even the fourth line will be better this year. You've got guys like Ryan Donato, who again are not superstars, but they'll when given the opportunity, they'll score a lot more than Jujhar Khaira or whoever was on that bottom six last. Not just to single out one guy, but you've got more offensive ability, more depth. It's not just a two-line team anymore. Yes, they're not going to get a wild card spot, but they're not going to be the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
They're not going to be embarrassingly bad. And if they play as hard under Luke Richardson as they did last year with this team, they're gonna surprise a few people early in the season. They're gonna take advantage of some of those early games, Toronto, that like they're gonna overlook them. Oh, the Blackhawks were bad last year. Oh my God, what are we doing? We're down 3-0, and the game's 7 minutes old. We better pick it up.
Yeah, Foligno was on a 35-point pace last year. He only played 60 games, but only 12-21 of ice time. It's safe to assume he's going to play more than that here.
Probably.
13, 14, not a ton more, but more than 12, I think. He'll have more of a role on this team. He'll play some penalty kill, maybe some power play if
Maybe
things
second
shake
power
out right.
play.
Yeah, you never know.
Listen, Jujhar Khaira, Mackenzie Entwistle played power
God.
play last year.
Don't make me open the document. Don't make me do it.
It's an upgrade.
Yes, it is.
We should. One show should be going through the file and just like maybe one of the days before the first game.
That could be fun.
We'll just be like, okay, remember last season. Let's remember last season and appreciate where we're going, what we're going into this year.
I think we should even push it further when we're further removed from it. Like maybe, hopefully, 2 years from now, like right before the first Stanley Cup playoff game of Connor Bedard's career, we go through that file and go,
love
hey,
it.
Sure,
tomorrow the Blackhawks are opening the Stanley Cup playoffs. Remember when Jujhar Khaira was on our top power play line? Like how far we've come.
Yikes. Alan K with a super chat. Did any of you have the Hawks making the Western Conference final in 2009 before the season started? Probably not the Western Conference final.
I
but
had them making the playoffs.
the year before, though, they had they won a playoff round.
Just short of the playoffs that year.
Yeah, didn't they beat Calgary in that round?
That was in
Well,
09.
that was the 09.
That was 09, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were just
07, 08 was the rookie year for Taze and Kane, and they were just short.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, like, if it's going to be a sneaky 09 year, it'd probably be next year or the following year.
Yeah.
But you'd have to have a lot go right. I mean, look, we're already sort of talking about Korchinski, Vlasic, and Kaiser as your left defenseman this year.
Yeah.
Luke is not shying away from that conversation at all, by the way. We're going to get to that in a little bit. So you got 3 rookie defensemen. We got to pump the brakes a little bit. There's going to be some painful moments for this team, but at least the arrow's pointed up, right?
Yeah,
like
they would need to make at least a 30-point improvement to get a wild card spot. That's not happening.
no, and I know
10
you know,
to 15 points is reasonable. Might even be on the high side.
Yeah.
You still got to worry about your goaltending.
Well, and Luke made the good point yesterday that they were like first or second in the league in empty net goals allowed, which means they were close in a lot of games they played. But remember, Alex Stalock played great. There's a lot of questions. I just think that there's a scenario in which they can be significantly improved from last year and sneak up on some people. That's all I'm saying. I think a lot of it has to do with how good Connor Bedard is right away. Is he a point-per-game guy as a rookie? That's going to make a difference. How ready is Lucas Reichel? Is he going to be a 50, 60-point guy or a 35, 40-point guy? That's a big difference. So there's a lot of questions asked, but if everything works out and Bedard's what you think and Reichel's what you think and Korchinski's what you think and all this, then you're talking 75 points, 80 points probably max, which is not getting you into playoffs.
And that's
Right.
if Mrazek and Soderblom do better than they did last year.
Yeah.
And that's a big if.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look with Mrazek, if he's healthy, there were stretches last year where he wasn't horrible.
No, he had some good runs there.
And
then groin gave up again.
right. So, if he has some stretches of health, I would imagine he would be able to have some stretches of time where he can put some consistently decent play together. Soderblom, I mean, he was thrown into a hard situation last year, so his numbers didn't look great. But even in some of those performances, he had stretches of games where he looked really solid and was making saves that was keeping the team in games or saving their ass at different times. So I would like to think that year 2 under Luke Richardson, year 2 in the system, collectively, I would like to think a better group than last year, being in a better situation than they were last year, where the tank isn't, the goal. I'd like to think that those differences in front of Mrazek and Soderblom will make their job a little bit easier. Yeah. So I know the goaltending is probably one of the worst tandems in the league. When you put it up against all 31 other teams. But I think there is potential for it to not be a complete tire fire, which is a low bar to cross, but that's where the team is at right now.
And not having your top 2 veteran superstar guys with one eye out the door the entire season won't hurt either.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the veterans that are here are kind of happy to be here. Like Foligno seems like really kind of jacked up about the opportunity to be a leader on this young team.
Yeah.
And Corey Perry's all smiles, and Ryan Donato was laughing at practice today. Like, you're not the guys that are here that are vets are not like
if Seth Jones is in a better mood.
Yeah,
there's something there.
Yeah,
and that's not a knock on Seth Jones or anything like that, but it's very evident that his mood was different in the last 2 seasons for valid reasons. Not the team he thought he was coming into. But him being in a better mood to start the year here, I think, says something about this group.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get to the in-depth discussion about the defensemen coming up next. But first, I want to remind you, with hockey season starting, you're going to want to save on your television provider And you could do that with Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/CHGO. You'll get 140 live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. Stream live TV from any device. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. And you can start watching immediately with a free trial. So don't take my word for it. Just check it out yourself. FuboTV.com/CHGO. There's no contract. There's no cable. There's no hassle. But there is picture-in-picture. So you can watch multiple sporting events at once, which is clutch AF, as the kids say. Just sign up and start watching. You'll get 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge, and you can watch your local teams while traveling. College football, you got Notre Dame, Ohio State this weekend. Irish are going to win, right, Braggs?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Cole Kmet
goddamn right.
approves that statement.
Big Ten.
Hey, we broke that news, by the way.
We did, accidentally.
And we didn't get in trouble.
Really? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Greg said it to start our show on.
I didn't say anything. All I said is the Cole Kmet effect. You could take that any way you
Yeah,
want.
of course.
That's true.
That can mean a million things.
And half our diehard listeners have no clue who the hell Cole Kmet is anyway. So that
I'm
was
sure.
the right
I'm
show
sure
to
our
go.
guy Gary sniffed it out.
Might have.
You gotta watch him. He's always
He's
keyed
sneaky.
in. Yeah.
Well, check it out. Go to FuboTV.com/CHGO to get all the sports all the time for a great price, including, like I said, that free trial. Because, again, you're frustrated with paying for cable. It's expensive. You've tried other streaming sites. Check out Fubo. Give it a trial. You've got nothing to lose. And I think you're going to love it. I love it, too.
Yep. You know what else you're going to love? What you walk out of the Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary with in your bag.
Correct.
Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. And Sunnyside has everything you are going to need to elevate your football and soon-to-be hockey season. We got college football, NFL football going on this weekend. I know you guys are excited about Notre Dame. We might need a little bit of Sunnyside's help to get us through this Bears game on Sunday. I might need to hit Sunnyside after tonight. Wisconsin plays Purdue. I'm not feeling confident about it. But no matter where you are in your football fandom or on your cannabis journey, Sunnyside makes it easy for you. They have online ordering and in-store pickup, and of course, a great transparent loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. And they have a ton of in-house brands to choose from. You got the Mindy's, the best tasting gummy and chocolate edibles around, created by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. You have the FloraCal, born on the West Coast. FloraCal Farms is committed to rigorous pheno hunting and small batch cultivation practices that yield only the best results. Flower is always hand-trimmed and expertly cared for to ensure only the very best flower, vapes, gummies, and pre-rolls go to market. You also got Remedy, where they say, welcome to wellness-minded cannabis delivered in easy forms and precise doses. Find Remedy tinctures, capsules, and RSOs available in relief and rest benefits at a Sunnyside dispensary near you. Now through October 15th, head to sunnyside.shop, use the code CHGO25, and you're going to get 25% off of your total order. That code is one use per customer. It's not stackable with other promotions, but it's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code. Again, CHGO25 when you go to checkout at sunnyside.shop. Must be 21 or older or an Illinois medical card holder.
All right, do that. Go there. It's awesome. All right, we're going to get to some video from today. First up, we got to chat with Blackhawks defenseman Jared Tinordi. He didn't talk for long, but had some interesting stuff to say. So why don't we fire that up? Here's Jared Tinordi in the very stinky locker room today at training camp.
We already asked, but how's the summer been for you? Just getting ready and everything.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm excited to be back. I've been here. I came up a little bit earlier, so I've been here for a while, and I'm definitely ready to get going.
What did you work on this summer?
A lot of things. I think, this summer was a little bit different for me. I had some injuries last year, so I think it was kind of good. I got to use the summer to kind of train a little bit differently than I have in the past, and I think I was kind of working on more movement and stuff like that. And I think, as I get a little bit older, I can definitely use a little bit more of that.
What did you do, I guess, differently, or what changes did you make?
Just the exercises were a lot more balance related, a little bit more power and pushing through. as you're holding kind of more balanced positions. And I think, my younger days you train, you want to lift weights and lift real heavy and things like that. But, I trained a little bit differently this summer, so feeling good.
How's the jaw been? Any residual effects?
None so far. Yeah, it's been really good. So, cross my fingers we don't get any problems, so it's been good.
So you're still eating good? No more soup?
Oh, yeah. No more soup. Done with that. Yeah.
Are you scarred for life on soup from here on out?
I haven't had it in a while, to be honest with you. So, I haven't even thought about it. So, yes, for sure scarred. Yeah.
When you're a veteran defenseman on a team and there's so many young guys trying to crack the lineup,
Yeah.
how do you balance that wanting to help them along and also wanting to keep the job?
I think it's just being a good teammate. I think, a lot of these guys that they have here, the young guys, I think they've, a few guys that they drafted recently, but a lot of the guys have kind of been, in the organization for a year or two now, so they kind of know, systems. Luke was first-year coach last year, but little things that we tweak, like last year we tweaked a little bit of things in how we were playing, and so new guys coming in, you want to help them out. I mean, I think I was playing with Al out there today, and, if he's playing well and I'm playing well, we're playing well together. It helps both of us, really. So I think, we're a team in here, we're a group. We're kind of pulling for each other, but, at the end of the day, there's still kids going for my job, so, I got to bring it too. So.
With no captain on this roster, how do you see the spread out leadership throughout this team this year?
Yeah, I think, the changes that they made in the offseason, signing Nick and Pears and bringing in Taylor, I think those are all, great changes. Those are guys that have been in the league a long time in leadership roles and have success in this league, and I think that definitely helps the dynamic of the group that we already had in here. I think, we did a great job. Taser, was one of the best captains I've played for, and we had periods last year where we didn't have them in the lineup, and I think guys did a great job of kind of banding together and, leadership by committee, and I think we're going to look to continue that this year.
When you were a rookie, how did the defenseman kind of help you get acclimated to the league that you try to impart on this young group of defensemen? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing that I learned was that guys were always talking to me, outside of hockey. I think, when you show up to the rink every day and you got guys asking, what you get up to last night, how are you feeling, things like that. I think it just helps you get a little bit more comfortable being around the room, being around the weight room, things like that. It helps you kind of settle the nerves a little bit, and, you're not too antsy, you're not too jittery. And so I think, you just try and start a relationship. I'm meeting a lot of these guys for the first time here too, this camp. So, just try to settle the nerves, start a relationship, and then hopefully it makes everybody a little bit more comfortable.
Are there little ways that you still feel Kane or Taves' absence?
I'm sorry?
Are there ways that you feel Kane or Taves' absence in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, those are guys that have been here a long time. I think, it's going to be tough. Kane or Tate, those guys are winners, really. And I think, that's kind of the biggest thing when you get into a game. I mean, not so much now, but once we get into the season, you get into games are a little bit tougher. You hit some adversity, things that, feels like not everything is going right. I think having guys like that can kind of pull you, they kind of grab everybody and pull everybody out together. And I think that's, that's definitely something that we'll miss. And I think it's on the guys that are in this room now to kind of band together and do that same thing.
Is it weird to be the veteran and have so many kids pushing on? And they're also teammates, right? So it's kind of like
I mean, I don't know. I was that young kid too, at some point. So it's, I know the position that I'm in. I mean, my career has kind of been up and down my whole career. And so I think, for me personally, I was a waiver pickup last year, and I was fighting to be an everyday player. I was fighting to be in the lineup every night. So, I think for me, that drive kind of never goes away. I think, I've been fighting for, every spot that I've had my whole career. So I think, it's fun to see the young guys coming up, and you want to help them as much as possible. But it's also, I want to play, and, this is my livelihood too.
Well, that's Jared Tinordi. I like him. He's a thoughtful dude. He's got some stuff to say. He answers questions. He doesn't just repeat cliches over and over again.
Thoughtful answers, yes.
Yeah. I mean, not earth-shattering, giving us groundbreaking info by any means, but
right.
It's something. It's
and he's a guy that's in an interesting position because he got here last season right before the season started because he was a waiver pickup, and he came from the Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's right.
True.
He was coming from an organization that he was not going to play in the NHL.
Greg hated him, then liked him.
Yeah, right. And then he came into a defensive group last year where it was just like, oh yeah, he has a great opportunity to play in the NHL all year, and he made the most of it. Now he's coming in. Some of the young guys are here. He's in that spot where it's just like Luke likes playing him. There's a role for him to play, but now these young guys are coming, kind of might edge him out eventually by the end of the season. So he's in an interesting position with, where his usage might be, where his ice time might be. I think he's definitely fighting for a roster spot, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up in the shuffle. But he's also in a position where he knows his role as a veteran. I think he's not stupid. He's not like, well, I'm going to try and beat Kevin Korchinski and Wyatt Kaiser and Alex Vlasic. I'm going to try and beat all of them for their spots. I think he understands that those guys are coming through soon. So he's embracing that role of kind of helping them along. He's an interesting guy on this team, depth role, and I do appreciate that he's going to give you, something to listen to when he answers a question. And I'm glad to hear that his jaw is back in as much structurally sound as it could be after when he went through last year.
I mean, all you got to do is just stand there and look at Jared Tinordi, and you're like, good God, man. Like, his nose is crooked, his lip is all...
It's clearly a hockey player.
Yeah, he is a warrior, and I think that's like...
Well, he was punching guys when his jaw was wired shut.
I mean, there's a reason Luke Richardson likes him so much.
Yeah.
Because he reminds him of Luke Richardson when he was a player. Very similar type of players. But yeah, Jared Tinordi is kind of a bit of a surprise. I remember being taken back a little bit last year, the first time we talked to him, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, you see him on the ice as this big physical guy, and then you talk to him, and he's this really nice, outgoing guy. He was asking all of us before the recorders went on, like, how our summer was, and he's an easy guy to cheer for. Because he's a good guy and obviously a great teammate, because he's always willing to sacrifice his body, and it'll be interesting to see his trajectory from the season. I fully expect him to be in the opening night lineup, but where is he in December? Where is he in February? You know.
Well, and Steven says that Tinordi should have a spot as a rotational D-man, and I think that's what he's going to be. And if you were listening to what he said like, hey, I'm fighting for a job here too. Like, I'm happy to be a mentor, but at the same time, like,
I'm not going to
these dudes are coming for my job, so I got to be careful. And I think
he's not just going to step aside.
Lucas made a point too. We're not going to play it today, but it was in the full thing. He was asked about Kachuk and Entwistle and one of the other Reese Johnson,
Blackwell, Reese Johnson,
and saying like, hey, like, reality is what it is. Like, there's more talent here now. There's more people threatening them, and they know that, so they got to be ready to go. Nothing's guaranteed. And what I'm really pleased about is that Luke is very comfortable going young this year, and even said today we might even be younger next year. Like, he's not afraid. Apparently, based on what he said through 2 days of camp, it almost sounds like he's going with 3 young defensemen. Just the way he has spoken. Yeah. And you're going to hear it later. I asked about Nolan Allen, and even that seems like at some point a possibility as soon as this year.
Yeah, I'm if things go well this season as far as development and progression, and seeing the young players, especially the guys who are making their first professional jump to professional hockey this year, guys like Ethan Del Mastro, Nolan Allen, Colton Dock, I would not be shocked if things go well for all those guys. And it's a big if all those things go well. But I wouldn't be shocked if next year Blackhawks have one of the youngest rosters in the league. Because
I hope so.
Because you're going to have,
I do too,
Bedard, Reichel, Kurashev will likely be around, Korchinski, Kaiser, Vlasic, maybe Del Mastro, maybe Allen too. Maybe
Drew Commesso.
Maybe Drew
maybe
Commesso.
Frank Nazar.
Maybe Frank Nazar. Maybe Oliver Moore. Maybe Ryan Green. Like, you got, what was it, 13 guys who can't legally drink in this country? Like, there's a potential, a huge, big if, I understand. But there is a potential for it to be, Seth Jones and Connor Murphy and the rest of their children next season on the roster.
Well, and Tim says the sad part is our best D-man right now would probably be our 4th best D-man, but during the Cup years. Yeah, but by the time the Hawks get to Cup contention again, he's not going to be their number 1. He'll be their number 3, number 4, because you're hoping that Kevin Korchinski and the guys you just mentioned elevate and bump him down a little bit. Like, that's part of what rebuilding is. And look, they're very likely could draft a defenseman this year, and he could become their top defense. You never know.
The top 10 of this year's draft class is more defenseman heavy, so it could be another guy coming in.
Also, on that observation, Tim, you've got one of the best defensemen to ever play the game and a borderline Hall of Famer in Brent Seabrook. So to say he's like, well, he's a 4. Well, yes, compared to two of the best in the history of the franchise.
Right.
Two that will have their numbers hanging forever. Yes, sure. And another guy you could argue is potentially number retirement worthy in Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
Yeah.
Like it's
ceremony.
Yeah, like I mean,
for Seth Jones.
Let's
Seth
not
Jones
let's
and
not over
Johnson.
let's not overplay.
Yeah, no, he's
You
not
know.
wrong, but also, yeah.
Context matters.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch this season and the progression, and I love that Luke has that open mind of, hey, I'm not just veteran, because he knows what's going on.
Yeah, it's almost
He
beyond
knew-
an open mind. It's almost like it almost feels like it's their job to lose the young kids. Like it's we're gonna see if they're ready, and then if they're not, fine. We got some veterans. It doesn't sound the other way. It sounds to me, and if you disagree by all means, help our reviews. Like I think it sounds like if you were to take Luke aside off the record, if you had to make the opening day lineup right now, would those three be your left defensemen? Kaiser, Vlasic, and Korchinski? I think you would say yes.
Well, I mean, you got Vlasic playing with Zaitsev to start, but that's young guy with NHLer. You have Korchinski with Murphy, young guy NHLer. You have Kaiser with Jones, young guy NHLer. Like, they're not just putting all the young guys together and say, yeah, okay, you guys are going to play in Rockford together. I'm not going to worry about you right now. They're putting those guys with NHL players right now to try and, get ready. Get ready for this opportunity. Be a sponge with Connor Murphy. Be a sponge with Seth Jones. Take what you can from these guys and be ready for this opportunity.
Yep, and I like Luke's. I think Luke is excited too because he knew exactly what he was getting to when he was hired, and he's starting to see these guys, and he knows these are the guys that I'm going to win with.
Yep.
Yeah.
So hey, if they're ready to play, let's effing go. Like, let's do it right now.
Got a super chat from the Duke. Is this the Duke?
Is this the Duke?
This is the Duke.
Is he a hockey fan now?
He is apparently.
He says, I've never been a big hockey guy, but seeing as how the Blackhawks are the last sports hope for this forsaken city, I guess I'm all in. Duke, we are happy to have you.
We will take all the new fans.
Welcome aboard.
Hop on the ride,
Thank
folks.
you. A
Thank you for your
$20 super chat. Thank you very much, Duke.
Now,
We
now the
appreciate
Leave the door
it.
open on your leave the door open on your way in.
Now,
Yeah.
the Duke, I have seen some of your super chats on the Bears show.
I was going to say, he is a little light.
I was
He's a
gonna
little
say,
light
this
here.
$20 is a good start.
No, call him
Ease his
out.
way in,
Call
ease
him
his
out.
way
This $20 is a good start,
Go,
but,
go full Monty here, Mario. Call him out.
let's-
What's up, Duke? You're running
let's-
short,
let's
running
see
tight
how,
all of a sudden?
Let's see what
very
spot on the ride do you
Duke
want to
Island's
have?
running dry?
Yeah. What spot on the ride do you want to have? Front row?
Oh, Lord.
See some front row.
And then $2 from Nathaniel Alonso. Thank you, Nathaniel. We appreciate you.
Super
Braggs,
chat's
before
probably
we get
coming
to
in.
the audio, can you scroll up real quick? There's one more thing I want to read from Larry. Okay, he says, nope, not that one.
Yes,
He said, well, I know what Larry said was,
Scroll down.
he said
down,
he
down.
basically said his only concern is burning a year off the Korchinski contract. And I get that. But what we are seeing, and this is not just here, this is happening around the league, where teams are burning that first year sooner so they get to the second contract sooner, so that second contract is cheaper than it would be with the whole term of it being a very dominant period for
what
that
Kyle
player.
Davison did with Lucas Reichel.
Yes.
Yep. And I think there is a roll of the dice in that burning the year off, but I think it's worth it to try and say, hey, Kevin, or Lucas, whoever's in that situation, we like what you've done in the year and a half of NHL time that you've seen. Here's 8 years, $6 million, instead of at the after 2.5 to 3 years of NHL time being, okay, you want $9 million, and you want $9 million. If this is a hypothetical in which they've all hit their ceilings,
Which is a nice problem to have.
which would be nice. But then it's just like, ooh, okay, all our 21-year-olds want $9 million each for the next 8 years. Interesting. Then then you're back to the square of let's hope and pray that that salary cap actually does go up more than just $1 million per year. So I'm not opposed to that strategy of burning that year. Look, if I had to put a bet down that Kevin Korchinski's first year gets burned this year, I'm hammering the over. I think it's he is definitely getting more than 9 games this year.
Yeah.
So if you're going to burn it for 9 games, you might as well play him well more than that. So
all right, we're going to hear from Luke right now, but first, $5 super chat from Nathaniel. He says, have you guys heard anything about Taves maybe working with the Blackhawks staff? No, we have not heard that.
Haven't heard
He is taking the year off. He is officially not retired. Maybe something that happens down the road, but there was a Hawks alum that was there today. We'll get to that in a little bit. But why do we feel the way we feel about Luke Richardson and the young defenseman? Well, why don't you hear from Luke himself? He was asked, how can he teach risk-reward to Kevin Korchinski? How do you balance that? And that's where Luke Richardson began the conversation today about Korchinski.
Is Korchinski a tough case for you as a coach and a former defenseman, right?
No, I think
where he's going to go this year.
Yeah, I think his ability is exceptional. It's just we got to make sure that he has a little bit of patience. He wants to probably show everybody that he can do everything. I think a defenseman that sometimes doesn't get noticed in a game is a good thing, and let the game come to you, like we kind of talked and worked with Seth a little bit last year. And I was a young defenseman, luckily to play as an 18-year-old in the league, and I had lots of ups and downs. I wasn't an offensive guy like him that could skate like him, but there's definitely some hard lessons, but you got to surround him with some good veterans, and coaching staff's got to be patient and really give him a good game plan so he can fall back onto something when something doesn't go well in one shift, one period, one game. And it's okay that if let's say he does start with us, he doesn't need to play the first 9 games. If we have 7D, maybe it's beneficial for him to see from above and discuss some some of his shifts from the last game and really kind of not inch him along. I think we'll just see how his progression goes in the exhibition games, and maybe he'll be flying high. We won't need to do that, but it's always an option to do something like that. It's good to be able to pull back rather than to plug a guy forward. It's hard to teach that. He has that naturally, so I think pulling him back in certain areas at this level will be just to get him to have some awareness. He's so quick and he glides so well on his skates that sometimes he gets himself into trouble. The speed will get him into trouble, and sometimes it gets him out of trouble, which is a good quality. But I think just especially out of the D zone, making sure the play comes to you. Things really turn. If you turn pucks over in the D zone in this league, it can be your net very quickly. So he needs to learn to play on the defensive side, let the puck come to him, and he has the ability to beat someone one-on-one skating. He doesn't need to take off every shift. Kind of something like we talked about with Seth last year. He doesn't need to be up the ice 200 feet every shift. Let the game come to you, play really good defense, and then you have the ability to beat people one-on-one with your skill and your speed. And I think when you get in the offensive zone, we encourage our D to get in the offense and get rotating and get moving down. And I think we saw that a little bit today and yesterday in the O-zone part of the game for us. We were working on D-zone, but when he was on the offensive side, he was taken off, and it makes it very difficult for the defending team. So we ask our forwards that come up the wall and kind of it ignites the movement in the O-zone, and when the D goes down, we asked if the forward's carrying it up to the blue line, he has to make a strong play so the D can trust that they can do that, and that'll be really especially big for a young defenseman. He doesn't want to be down there and a forward turns the puck over. He feels like he's the wrong position, which really wasn't his fault, but we don't want to get him into a situation like that. We got to make sure we have trust in all 5 guys on the ice, and that'll really help a guy like Korchinski.
See, and here's what I love about what he's saying is, instead of saying we have to teach this offensive-minded defenseman to be careful, he's saying we have to encourage this offensive defenseman to play his game. Mm-hmm. And if he goes too far, then we'll rein him in. It's not, we're going to make you a pocket passer. We're going to let you scramble, right? If we're comparing it to Justin Fields, let These players do what suits them best. You drafted Kevin Korchinski to carry and move the puck. You drafted Nolan Allen to be a strong defender. Let them do their things. And the fact that Luke Richardson is saying before Kevin Korchinski makes his NHL debut, we want him to take chances. We are designing our system to protect against the chances that he's going to take. We're telling our forwards, if he goes in, you have to come back and you have to play strong at the blue line to ensure that he feels comfortable doing that, because it's a massive asset for our team.
Yep.
That is beautiful. That is exactly the kind of language you want to hear from your head coach as you enter, in our minds, truly year one of a rebuild. That is chef's kiss, exactly what I want to hear from Luke Richardson. And who is better to say to him, hey, I saw that pinch there. I saw what you were thinking. Next time, take a look first, or be sure you've got support from Philip Kurashev, whoever it might be, before you make that move. But I like where your head's at. I like what you're thinking. But in this specific situation, it's what he said in the cut. Maybe if it starts to overwhelm a little bit, they set him up in the press box, and it's not the end of the world. Yeah. It doesn't mean he's done in their eyes. And the fact that he will clearly communicate that to him, see, I think that's the difference between Q and Luke, is communication. When I used to talk to Hawks players during the Cup era, when I was with the Score, I would always say, like, what are your dealings with Q like? And they'd say, I don't really talk to Q. It's mostly with the assistants. We talk to the assistants, and if something big happens, Q will come in, and, that's kind of the way it goes. Luke is hands-on as hell, especially with these young defensemen, and I love to see it. And someone mentioned in the chat, like, you don't want a Yokoharu, who's the other kid?
Boquist.
Jesus Christ, Boquist.
Jesus Christ didn't play on our team.
No, he does not. He's on the Notre Dame quarterback. You don't want a situation like that, but I think the staff in place is so much more well-equipped to handle that.
Yeah.
And, again, the expectations, as we said yesterday, are also different on the team, where a loss or a goal is like, it doesn't sink the season or the playoff chances. It's not what this year's about.
Yeah.
Right? It's about learning. It's about growing. So learn by mistakes. Boom. Love it. I love what he had to say there.
I love it too. I like we said before, it feels like he is now in a position to get to work more directly with the idea and expectation that these young players are going to come in and play. It feels like he's finally getting his hands on those players that he expects to be around for when this team is supposed to have the expectations to win again. So, yeah, I echo what you said, Jay. Like, it's encouraging to hear that, and it's the right message for a young player. You don't want Korchinski to go in there and be, pinch down on a play. Puck gets, he carries the puck in deep, gets it around the boards to the corner, tries to set something up offensively off a rush or something like that. Puck goes to the offensive player. Offensive player gets a stick lifted, pickpocketed. It's going the other way. Korchinski's behind the net. You got a 2-on-1 the other way, and you're saying, well, what the hell are you doing, Kevin? Why are you behind the net? Why'd you pinch down on that play? Well, it's not his fault that it got turned over. So, relaying that message to the young player in Korchinski and being like, we want you to go do that. We want you to trust that your forward can handle the puck that you're going to give them, and have them make sure that they have your back so that it's not a 2-on-1 going the other way. That's the message you want to convey to young players, not, damn it, 19-year-old Kevin, it's your fault again.
How dare you, right?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Go grab some pine, right?
Yeah,
it's not what it's about.
That's the right way you want to hear a guy like Richardson communicating to a young defenseman that you expect to have a lot on their shoulders rather soon.
We also talked about Nolan Allen, and I started with a question, and I forgot to trim it off, so we'll just let myself lead the conversation. Go ahead, Jay. Take it away.
You've got Nolan Allen on the right side. What went into the decision to make him the guy to shift sides, and what are some of the challenges you might face doing that?
There's advantages and disadvantages on your strong side and weak side, and I think for him, I noticed him last year in the rookie tournament. We had too many lefties, and he played the right side, and he looked really good. And he's a physical guy, and I think physical guys probably maybe get more benefit out of that, because when you turn and pivot to the wall, your stick is as a lefty on that side. You can cover more ground if a guy's going wide on you. I think it's an advantage, and if someone turns back, you can flush the puck up the wall. There's lots of advantages, and even pucks coming up the wall in the offensive zone, you can pull that off your backhand. You have to work at it, but if you pull it off your backhand, you're automatically in a really good shooting position inside the dots. So there's advantages of it, and definitely as a young guy, he's going to have to work at it at this level, but I think he's got the confidence to do that. He just looks like a hockey player. He just looks like you could put him anywhere and he'll play. He's hard. I watched him in the rookie tournament. He blocks shots. He doesn't even grimace. There's not even a flinch in his face. Like, he is, basically a man coming out of junior, and now he just has to learn that NHL game.
Does he have a shot this year to make the team?
I think just as much as probably any of the other young guys, I think the other young guys have had more experience. So he may need some experience in the minors to start, but you never know. Like, you don't want to ever, kind of pinpoint a guy into a spot and then they exceed that, and then it throws you a wrench. I think just keep an open mind. Let them show us what they have, and that's Korchinski down to Allen or up, and that's Vlasic, that's Phillips, that's all of them, and Ruse. Like, they've all had some experience with us here, except Del Mastro and Allen coming in here. So I think we let's see how they measure up against the other guys in the exhibition games.
Yeah. I mean, this is a coach that's excited about young defensemen, and
yeah,
I kind of knew that's what he was going to say about Allen, that he's just big and strong and ready for the challenge. To play that right side.
Yes, but how firm is he?
How firm? He said he was hard, not firm.
Oh, yeah.
We got to work with these guys. We got to coach out the obviouslies and coach out the phrasings. Like, what
I think
are we
the
doing?
phrasings are
no
fine.
No one's hard. No one's firm. Strong is the word you're looking for.
I would much rather my hockey players be hard and firm than soft and flabby.
Well, that's true. You leave Dustin Buffalo out of this, damn it. That's my guy.
I would imagine he's still hard and firm in specific places. I walked into that one. Hey, should we talk about other stuff?
We just talk about something else immediately.
Let's talk about other stuff.
How about sports?
Yeah.
Some spurch.
Hawks Hockey 98 is calling you out.
Some other stuff.
What? Yeah, we'll take that out in post.
Save that for CHG OnlyFans.
Nah. Leave it in.
All right. Well,
it's our true selves.
Hey, man, it's kind of after dark. We're getting there. All right, so we saw Marian Hossa today. He was yesterday. You shared the Instagram video of him flying in with his agent. And today he was up in the. So if you've never been to Fifth Third, the fans sit on one side, then the whole brass is like in a raised skybox on the other side, and there was Marian Hossa with Norm McIver and Brian Campbell and Kyle Davidson. They were all up there. You could see Hossa on your YouTube screen there in the gray sweatshirt. I don't think it means anything. I think he's just in town for whatever, and he came in to watch Connor Bedard practice, and maybe, I don't know. But maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
If he lived in Barrington Hills and he drove in to see Connor Bedard practice, I'd say no big deal. Dude flew halfway across the globe.
It's Connor Bedard.
I can see him doing that for his first game.
It's not nothing.
He's going to be the Chicago Bears' new defensive coordinator.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Somebody tweeted
Find
at
ball,
us.
hit guy with ball. That's his philosophy.
Somebody tweeted at us he's here to punch Corey Perry.
Why? Why would Hossa punch Corey Perry?
Oh, back in the day. Remember when didn't Perry steal his stick and kick it down the
ice?
ice?
Yeah, he did, I guess.
Yeah.
That's true.
And Hossa just looked at him like, dude,
look, I mean,
do you know who I am?
Hossa's not here for a haircut. So, I don't
Joe
know.
Brand said Hossa was here for the Blackhawks Gala. Well, there you go.
The Blackhawks Gala. Did you guys get invited to that?
No.
Apparently not.
I ain't getting invited to that.
That's right. We got free donuts.
We're not firm enough.
We don't have Joe
Definitely
Brand.
not.
We don't have Joe Brand's great hair to get invited to something like
Yeah,
that.
We don't. I mean, between you and Charlie and Joe, though, it's pretty good hair. Pretty good beat on the hair on the beat there.
Well, yeah. I mean, considering most NHL beats have very little hair,
Yeah.
I think we've got that department won, so
Yeah.
that's nice.
See, there's a win.
We got that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah. You want to shout out somebody, too?
Yes. We got a very nice email from a new friend.
Steven Cicero.
And it wasn't Steven Cicero.
This is real.
It was David in Switzerland.
Hey.
David Zumwald. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sent us a nice message all the way from Switzerland. Listens all the time, so we just wanted to say hello to David and thanks. Sent us this really cool. He put together this little thing with some stats and facts about the players and from the first inaugural Blackhawks season.
That's
I haven't
awesome.
had a chance to really look at that, but
great
I'm
stuff.
going to this weekend.
History stuff.
So thanks for the kind words and the viewership, and we add Switzerland to our army of international fans. Slovakia, Scotland,
Our United
Mexico,
Nations
Germany,
of Blackhawks
Portugal.
fans.
We got almost all of Europe.
Yeah, let's go.
Obviously Canada. So
Scotland.
yeah,
Step it up, Belize.
yeah. Where's our Paraguay fans? But thanks for the great email, David. We appreciate those. Those
Chili
are the types
scared
of
the shit
things
out of
that make the long summers worth it.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost done. We're going to wrap up. Cubs are next. But first, where can our friends get decked out, Greg?
Our friends
In
can
s-
get decked out by visiting FOCO
Yeah.
with the best sports gear or sports merch or
Spurch.
money can buy. They got hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. Football season's here. Hockey season's almost here.
Got a Welsh fan,
This
too.
is hey, all right, go Wales. This is actually the best time of year because you're going to have all the major sports in season at the same time with baseball playoffs. So get everything you need for a game over at FOCO Plus. If you want to decorate an office, either at home or in an office building somewhere, do people still go to office buildings? It's been so long. I don't
This
know.
is technically an office
Sure,
building.
you're not wrong. We've got great decorations from some of the great bobbleheads and other pieces you can get from FOCO. So go show them some love. Check out FOCO.com or click on the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO and you're going to get 10% off.
I believe we have a beer bat coming because the Cubs won.
Yes.
I believe it is a delicious Goose Island beer. They are the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and they have been Chicago's beer since 1988. I don't know what beer Cody has grabbed. Nice honks.
It's a 312.
It's a 312. That's what the beer bat's going to be, and that is the staple of the Goose Island Beer Company's illustrious year-round roster. They also got the Full Pocket Pills and the family of Beer Hug IPAs. It is September 22nd. Did you guys celebrate the 21st of September last night?
Of course.
Yes, I did too.
No, but I'm celebrating Bruce Springsteen's birthday today.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday, boss.
Happy birthday, Bruce. Maybe you'll enjoy an Oktoberfest beer, Bruce. You can grab all of those beers and more, ultra fresh, brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that's the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
And good time to become a diehard. Why? November 4th, we have a United Center takeover happening versus the Florida Panthers. That includes the game day experience at Fifth Third Arena pregame. That's going to be a fun event. Go to allchgo.com, navigate over to our events tab to purchase your tickets. As always, diehard save. And when you become a diehard, you get a free shirt upon sign up and access to all of our great written content that will be coming during the year. So jump in, become a diehard today at allchgo.com. All right, we're going to make way for this victorious CHGO Cubs podcast. Cody is smiling, which means I'm happy and everybody's happy around here. So we'll talk to you Monday. I don't know what time. I haven't looked that far ahead yet. What do you want from me? We'll let you know.
Scrimmage updates.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have a scrimmage on
Furnace
Monday.
updates.
I believe it's at 3 again.
I would assume 3.
I don't have Notion open.
It's 3.
We'll
Let's say
tell you.
3.
We got 2 days to tell
We'll
you.
say 3. If we lie, we'll...
It's 3. I looked
We'll
it
lie
up.
some more.
That wasn't hard.
Confirmed.
3 o'clock Monday. Talk to you then on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.